Hey guys, how's it going? And this is Dilmer. Welcome back today. So today I wanted to talk about the reality about overnight success and some of the things that I've done towards trying to be an overnight success and why I actually failed at doing that and instead of us thinking about overnight success, I want you to be thinking about what can you do every day to get you to the point where you want to be. And I think the point where we want to be is, we want to become full-time game developers. You might want to have a studio. You might want to make enough to do this every day. And regardless of where it is, it might be in a facility, it might be in your house. But I think one of the things that I would recommend that you don't pursue and just right at the beginning is trying to become someone else. And instead of trying to become someone else, why don't we try to become who we are and start building our skills towards that role model where we want to get. And if I just to tell you a little bit about a story where I thought I was pursuing the right genre, but it wasn't actually the right genre, which was casual games. So I made a Stickman World. It took me a while to develop, and then right after that, I was very frustrated. I was very, I thought it was gonna do so well that I could do this full time, but that actually didn't happen. And I don't see it as a negative, as a negative story right now. I see it as positive, but there were days where I felt like I was working too hard. I was doing everything I could, and that didn't I did all that work. I didn't go to bed. I wasn't sleeping, and I did all that work for nothing. And that's how it felt to me that day when I released the game and I look at the sales on the next day, and the sales were just so low that I could probably just go to a restaurant for that, and that was it. It wasn't enough to keep a family together. So right after that, I was looking back and asking questions such as what kind of game can I develop that would be able to sustain my lifestyle, and then I wouldn't have to go to a day job. And I look at casual games, and I started brainstorming, and I look at successful games such as Flappy Bird and so on, and Fortnite right now, which I mean it's not a casual game, but it's getting a lot of attention. But it got to me to a point where I asked the question and I said, well, maybe I can make a casual games that look good. They have the minimalistic style, and also they have that kind of engagement. I can engage the player more. So I did a game on that. I did cuts. It's very minimalistic, and it's unlimited, so you can keep playing, and you have to basically destroy these little circles that I start getting approaching towards the center of the game, where you're pretty much just protecting an area. And I did it. I got approached by companies such as Voodoo. I got approached by Panda Games, and I got approached by various companies. And what these companies do, it's interesting because they're just, and I don't want to say anything bad about them, but they try to play. They're gaining what developers are creating, and they're pretty much just testing tons of games. So people are sending them games. They're looking at games, and they run them through ads, and they test engagement. They see, they target those ads to a specific people. It might be people from 14 years old to 22 years old that like casual games, and they live in this area, and they have these shopping patterns. So they do these target tests that will basically tell how much players are staying in your game. They look at percentages over time, and if retention is of a certain percentage, then they take your game. So I tried that. I sent them my game. They try it out. I didn't have the retention metrics that I thought. So then I decided to publish it on my own, and the game didn't do that well. So what did I learn about that? And not to say that, if you do it as well, you're not gonna do well. But what I learned about that is that, I I I did okay. I did much better when I did my own game, where I did a self-publish, and I actually was charging money for the game. Where when I sent the game to a publisher, it didn't. I think I wasted a lot of that time. I could have been doing other things. I could have been maybe making a pay game. And as I look at it now, I learn from it, and you have to learn from it. And that's what I'm here. I'm here to tell you my experience, so that if you have questions about whether you have to publish, whether you use a publisher or not. And I'm not saying don't use a publisher. I'm just saying look at the experience that I went through to determine if it's the right fit for you. So going back to topic of overnight success, that I tried that. I tried a casual game. It didn't do well for me, and at the same time, I was doing cubics, and out of everything that I've done, I think the business model for me that has actually worked is pay games. And I'd rather concentrate on pay games and make games that are more polished, more games that they have more in depth, and I can charge. I can say, I'm gonna spend this much time. I'm gonna allocate 3 months of my time for this, and I'm gonna make it the best that I can make it. And then when I release it, I know that I'm gonna charge a fee. It might be a small fee. It might be 99 cents. It might be 1.99, but I'm charging for that. And it's interesting because with the free games, I didn't really make any money with those games. But with the pay games, it's a different story. You gotta also be careful of what you charge for. I always think about if I was the consumer and I was gonna get charged for the game that I'm making. Sometimes it's hard to get yourself out of your own role, but other things you can do, you can ask, people that you don't know, or people that you meet in a conference, and people that, even go into a coffee shop and just, find somebody in the coffee shop and say, hey, I'm developing a game, and this is my plan. I'm charging this much. I want you to be completely transparent and tell me, what do you think about it? Do you think it's too expensive? Do you think it's okay? Would you think free would be better? And then tell me some of the reasons why. So you can always write kind of a questionnaire of things that you may ask these people, and that's really helpful. I've done it in the past, and it's been really great. So again, there is overnight success, but I think we gotta be realistic with ourselves, and then make sure that you're building towards your brand, and not because you didn't do well in a game, you're gonna stop creating games and you're gonna stop doing that genre. If casual games is for you and you want to be doing that, that's okay. Just do it better than everybody else. Make sure that you're always looking at quality. Make sure that you're always looking at every little detail about your game. And then if you want to do pay games, just remember to always give enough content. Make sure that you're always building quality, and because people are going to pay money for it, and it's an investment on their end. They're investing in you. So you want to make sure you do the best that you can to provide value. So thanks again, guys. I appreciate it. I'm really excited to have you always on this podcast. I wanted to say thank you to everybody for all your great comments. I had a lot of great comments in social media about these videos, and honestly, it's so motivating to see that these are being useful for people. So I'm gonna keep telling you my experience. I'm gonna try to find as many topics as I can. I have a big list of things that I'm going to be covering in the next few days, in the next few weeks. So yeah, share my channel. Be sure to subscribe, because that helps me a lot with the channel. And thanks again. I appreciate it, guys. Have a great day.